Here we are, the day before Election Day. I hope to have this video up today, the day before Election Day. I need to give people some distractions, including myself. Filming this is a distraction because I don't want to think about this election anymore. I want it to be over as soon as possible. And tomorrow, hopefully, we'll have some sort of answer or be close to an answer. I actually don't think this is going to drag out for days and weeks on end. I could be wrong. I cast my vote early. Granted, I'm in a state that's definitely going to go blue. If you're not following me on YouTube, please go here, subscribe to my channel. Let's make a smaller goal, 75. I think I'm at 71 right now, which is up from 40 like a few months ago or whatever. But let's get to 75. That's about 4 people. Obliterate that subscribe button, and I would really appreciate it. So name that tune. We're gonna do 10 songs plus a bonus. Last week I didn't do a bonus. I think I just ran out of steam. This first tune is an 80s classic. I think you'll get it right away. This song is from a record. You either know every song on the record or you'll have no idea what this is. But I think for a lot of people, you had to have come into contact with this record in some form or fashion. This is one of my favorite tunes by this artist. Maybe one of my favorite tunes in general. It may be tough to get this just from the intro, but I'm going to give you the intro and we'll see who gets it. This is a tune, if you were of the MTV age, you probably definitely heard this back when guitars were more on the radio. This was 1988, interesting. If you've talked to me about music in the past 20 years, I may have mentioned at some point this is one of my favorite bands. I definitely think this band has the best frontman of all time. So that's a clue if you know me well. You've heard me say that. This next tune is not a guitar tune, it is a pop smash hit though, so you should get the melody. It's more of a dance type thing. Every time I hear this song, I'm like, damn, what a great song. I've heard this on The Voice in a lot of auditions. This tune should be one of the more recognizable songs ever recorded because the band was so big in the 80s and 90s, but I'm gonna have to do this with multiple parts. Let me see how I can edit this together after the fact, because the strumming doesn't give it justice. There's a lot of tunes that were like called active rock or modern rock in the early aughts that I think are more better defined as butt rock now, because the band's just like sounds so trash and out of date. But see if you can remember this one. This tune will be known by anybody that's probably been to a barbecue joint in the past 10 years or so. I'll play a little bit into the part after the intro, because the intro I wouldn't even have maybe recognized right away. Some of you might. This is the bonus track. If you don't know this, I have no help for you. One of the most recognizable intros of all times. John Mellencamp is the artist. The song, of course, is Jack and Diane. Classic Mellencamp tune. Haven't listened to him really in a while. I got this book off of like an eBay or some used book online thing. My favorite tune from the whole batch here was actually Authority song, which maybe wasn't his biggest hit, and that was actually earlier in his 80s career. Vampire Weekend from their debut record. It's Cape Cod, Kwassa Kwassa. I've seen Vampire Weekend in concert many, many times. One of my best Webster Hall stories is about not being able to get into Vampire Weekend because I bought fake tickets on the street and I had to wait outside like a beggar, and then eventually like I got waved in by somebody. It was amazing. Van Morrison, Into the Mystic. Huge fan of Van Morrison. You know, he wrote those tunes when he was like 23 years old. Insanely good. A lot of music from back then can sound dated in some ways or sound antique. Van Morrison does not. It sounds so vibrant and so good. Almost like a warm balm coming over you, so definitely check it out if you haven't in a while. Cult of Personality by Living Colour. But yeah, I remember seeing this on TV all the time. Vernon Reid was so badass, guitar player. Yeah, Corey Glover and Vernon Reid are like burned into my memory from that time. Like this all-black band, but like so punk rock. It was so cool. Devil Inside by the band In Excess. Michael Hutchence is my all-time favorite frontman. The In Excess behind the music on VH1, just being like, there is just no dude who exuded so much charisma, to me at least. I thought he was just unreal. Kick by In Excess, one of the best albums of all time by anyone. They had like 6-7 singles from it. They have a live album called Live Baby Live, and then there is now a restored concert film from it. I actually saw it on like some PBS pledge drive, but they were playing Live Baby Live, where they've restored the concert from the 80s into 4K. Unreal. I'm gonna try to get a hold of it. It is so good. They were such a good band. And Michael Hutchence sadly died of supposed suicide in the late 90s. I remember being in my car driving to a concert where I was playing trumpet in the Nashville Youth Symphony and hearing about it on the radio, because there was no internet back then, people. There was a little bit of like internet, you know, at home, but there was no on the road. You had no tether to the outside world other than the radio. So I remember hearing about it on the radio that Michael Hutchence had died, and being kind of like taken aback while driving to that concert. That was Rihanna, We Found Love, the EDM smash written by Calvin Harris. We found love in a hopeless place. I love going to the bar or club and hearing these tunes playing. And that's a very epic, cinematic, kind of longing but kind of hopeful sound to it. A lot of these EDM hits, very emotive. So a lot of people, they feel happy but they almost feel like they're gonna cry. Not easy to do in music, to evoke emotion like that. And a lot of it's like these minor chords and things that happen in the bridge, and then like the bass drops or the beat drops at the right time. The group was Loggins and Messina, and the tune, of course, is Danny's song. And even though we ain't got money, but I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything will bring a change of love. That's one. U2, of course. Octung Baby was a amazing record in the early 90s. Maybe one of my favorite records of all time. Maybe one of the best records of that whole era. The band is Fuel, and the tune is Hemorrhage. Don't fall away. Don't fall away. Leave life bleeding in my hands again. This is a stereotypical tune that would play on X101.5 in Tallahassee, which was a modern rock station, which now I call butt rock. Butt rock is just like that too aggressive, like Zac Brown band. Chicken Fried. I've seen Zac Brown band once, which was opening up for Dave Matthews Band at Citi Field like 10 years ago. Kind of an Atlanta bar band. Maybe the equivalent of the Hold Steady in New York is Zac Brown Band in Atlanta. Friends in Low Places by Garth Brooks. Tab Book had this in there, which you can also do with some open strings, but I saw Garth Brooks with my dad and members of my family, 1998. One of the best concerts you could possibly ever see. We were behind the stage and it was still unreal. Garth did a live concert in 2018, I think it was, at Notre Dame, on their big Jesus football field. There is a quote I often say, there's a difference between 20 years experience and 20 years of the same experience. So Garth was one of the biggest artists of the 20th century, just album sales and hits and millions sold. But the thing is, Garth Brooks is doing the exact same thing 20 years later. So is that good enough to matter? And I think probably if you haven't seen him or haven't thought about him in a while, it's probably amazing. It's probably like riding Garth Brooks the ride. He also camped out in Vegas for a number of years, I think, while his kids were growing up, and was performing at the Wynn, and he was doing a solo like one-man show, I think it was, called Blame It All on My Roots. And I think there's like a box set you can get of it. And at the time I thought it was kind of lame he was doing that, but I remember watching it on some PBS drive and they were showing it and I was like, damn, it's good. He was covering Night Moves by Bob Seger, and he covered Night Moves in that show he did at Notre Dame. And I remember being like, God, this is good. So it's one of those things, it never changes. It's like almost like Jimmy Buffett. You know, all those Jimmy Buffett tunes that everybody knows, they came out like the late 70s. And he hasn't changed an inch since. So that was named that tune for Monday, November 2nd. Tomorrow is either going to be one of the greatest days ever or complete doomsday, and when we all start doing heroin. So I wish everybody the best. I'm hoping for the best. All we can hope for is the best. Stay safe out there. What'll really make you feel safe is to subscribe to my YouTube channel down below. Trying to get to 75 subscribers. We're at 71 subscribers. So 4 of you can find it in your hearts. Obliterate that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Anyways, some fun music this week. Hope that you were able to recognize most of the tunes. We reinstated the bonus. The bonus might have helped you all get 1 extra point. Comment below with your scores. Let me know how you did. And we'll talk soon. God bless America.